Welcome everybody to ESC Fan TV. It's a Monday night. We don't say that very often, but welcome to tonight's show. We are here slightly delayed from Friday night, as some of you that live in Europe will know that good old Eunice spent the weekend blowing the whole of Europe. Lucky Eunice. But we are here now, live for a very special UMK 2022 preview. That's right, this Saturday night, the 26th of February, 7 songs will compete for your vote. That's right. And I think it's fair to say Finland have got another very good selection on their hands this year. And our panel are going to give their thoughts on each of the songs tonight. But just as important as what our panel thinks, we want to hear what you think. So leave your comments in the chat room. We're going to put them up on screen, and we want to hear what you think about tonight's entries. First of all, let's meet the panel. I just want to say a very good evening to my co-host as always. How you doing, Tom?
Hey Steve, great to see you. Looking forward to running through this tonight. There's some absolutely cracking songs to take a look at.
Sure is.
Should be good. And I'm going to be in the chat room, so please get your messages in. Want to hear from every single one of you.
And very good evening to Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Kitos. I'm doing very well. I'm really looking forward to this. As you know, I've got some Finnish ancestry, so I always look forward to the Finnish selection.
It's a good one too, Steve.
It's
I think
a very good one.
Finland seem to be doing the stuff over in the Nordics. I nearly said Scandinavia, and I've been reliably informed that is very naughty of me. Yes. So we're going to call it Nordics from now on. Very good evening to Phil and Michelle. How are you both?
Hello.
Hello, we're fine, thanks. We haven't got any Finnish in us.
Well, I might have at one point, but I haven't
anymore. Yeah, this is a really good selection. Looking forward to talking about these. There's some good songs here.
I think it's a good one. We say very good evening to Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Hi, Stu. Really good to be here. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here as well. I'm glad we all managed to make it safely through the weekend, and really looking forward to talking about Finland.
Yeah, it's. I think they've got some good songs this year, and I think if they choose the right one, I think Finland could do well again this year.
I agree. They could very well do well. Of course, Finland finished 6th in Eurovision 2021 with Blind Channel and Dark Side. And finally, last but not least, a very good evening to Georgia. How are you doing, Georgia?
Hi, I'm great. Very excited to be talking about 2 of my favorites so far this season.
Well, we're going to get straight into it. If you're new to the format of ESC Fan TV, our panel are going to give their opinion, but we want your opinion, so leave your comments on the chat. And Tom is in the chat room tonight, chatting to all you chatters. Give Tom lots of love. Click the like button or the dislike button if you don't like what we're about to say, and leave your comments. Leave your comments, people. We love to hear from you. We are going to kick off tonight's selection with the very first entry. We're going to talk about, this is Cyan Kicks with the song Hurricane. Let's take a look. So we have the first entry of the night, Cyan Kicks with the song Hurricane. Hurricane, of course, was the Serbian entry last year. Definitely not the same song, very different indeed. These guys were formed in 2016, have released 2 studio albums. Hurricane talks about praising those who pursue courage and self-realization. There's all sorts of styles of genres going on in this song. There's electronic verses, there's a bit more rockier elements to it. And by the way, you can catch up on our interview with Cyan Kicks on our YouTube channel, and go and check that out after tonight's show. Let's kick straight into this one. What a way to start the show. Great energy from Cyan Kicks, and also potentially a really good entry following on from what we saw from Blind Channel last night. We're going to go straight to Phil and Michelle, because I think this is probably up your street. Tell me what you think about it.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think they look face as well. They're wearing the black, but they've got shiny as well. I really liked it. I like the techno rock. I love the meaty drums in it as well. There's a really good drum section in it. It's very good. And I know we're going to get a lot of rock this year because of Maneskin, but this is a million miles away from what Maneskin have done. Go on.
I'm going to agree. I love it. Of the rock songs in the Finnish selection, this is definitely my favourite. There's a lot of energy. When it starts off, it's a bit slow, and then suddenly the chorus kicks in, and there's a lot of oomph there.
I like the way they look as well. They look really cool. They look like the sort of people you want to be friends with, but they just sort of sneer at you and go, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think it's a really cool entry, actually, and I mean, it's the first one we're talking about tonight, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. But wow, what an entry from Finland, and what a song I think you'll remember from for years to come. Also, just a bit about how Finland will select their song. They take a view that 25% should be international jury and 75% should be televote. So you're going to get a lot of televoters making the difference this Saturday night, whereas the international jury just get a little say as to who Finland sends. So it makes all the difference. Not 50-50, 75% televote, 25% international jury. Matt, this I think could be an iconic entry for Finland. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I really like the video as well. It's something that really stood out. It's quite like American sounding, but no, I think this could do quite well at Eurovision. I think you could really have some fun with the staging as well. Maybe like a giant hurricane or something on the stage.
Thanks, Matt. I wonder if we're going to see something quite similar to Blind Channel, actually. I wonder whether we might see quite similarities. I'm going to go to Georgia. Georgia, this has the ability to come alive on stage on Saturday night, does it?
It does, yeah. It is a great song. I do find the lyrics a bit meh. They're kind of very cliche for that type of song. But overall, the vibe of the song and the vocals are great. I really hope they can perform it live and really send that energy across. So, not my favorite though, but it's a good one.
Oh, it's a good one. And Steve, the caption on the screen says, "Did Hurricane blow you away?" Well, Eunice nearly did. Did this blow you away?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic song, and it's actually the third Hurricane in Eurovision. As you mentioned, the Serbian one last year, but there was an entry in 1983 from Austria from a group called West End. Don't bother listening to that because it's nothing like this. I think this is really good. It's really fresh. They look great. They sing great. I'd agree with Georgia that the lyrics are not exactly compelling, but I think it's a really, really good song and really good to have as an opening number, I think, in Eurovision as well if it gets through, which I don't think it will, but that's another story.
Well, we're going to find out. And Tom, you're in the chat room. What are your thoughts on this entry? And how do you expect the staging to be set on Saturday night? And also, and most importantly, what are the chat rooms saying?
I'll tell you what, Steve, let's go with what the chat room are saying, first of all. Extremely positive here. Donna says Hurricane is such a jam, definitely the favourite of the selection. Anya reckons it's a very cool entry with lots of energy and really likes it. Jude reckons it's very grown-up Avril Lavigne for her. Fantastic rock song is Thomas's Praise. And Kane reckons it's going to get 12 points from them. I quite like this. I think it's a really cool track. It is one of those really great songs. You can imagine this in the Euro Club and people kind of going nuts. It's got a similar vibe, I think, in some ways to Dark Side last year. I think it's got potential to pick up where it left off on the scoreboard as well. In terms of the staging, I just don't know. If it's different from the music video, then I genuinely don't know what to expect. But I suppose in some ways I'm hoping for something that's quite simple, understated, and lets the music do the job. There you go.
What about Big Wind Machine, where everyone's been blown away by a hurricane type thing with all the hair?
No, the thing is, I wouldn't want to see any literal staging because I've already seen part of that in Norway and it didn't exactly work out well for the acts concerned. So, let's not go there.
No, fair enough.
Great stuff. Thank you, Tom. And thank you, chat room. Keep your comments coming in. Right, we're going to move swiftly on to the second of our 7 entries tonight. This is Tommi Läntinen with the song, oh my God, here we go. Elämä, kantaa, mua. Elämä, kantaa, mua. There you have it. The song actually translates as Life Carries Me, and Tommi is a very well-known performer. He's been in the music business for 40 plus years, performing in various groups and also as a solo artist, which he commenced in 1994. This song is all about bringing together old school and next generation rock. Talks about change, specifically the courage needed to go through change and the change process. Tommi Läntinen. Last year we had Danny, and Phil and Michelle remember Danny very, very well. They were big champions of that entry. This year, Finland have included another well-known Finnish entrant from back in the day. How does this stack up, Phil and Michelle? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going through the change now, so I completely understand what he's on about.
Is it like riding on a Harley Davidson? Though? That's the question.
No, but I think he just wants a Harley Davidson. I think he's got to a stage of his life where he wants to see everything in the rearview mirror of from a Harley Davidson. So I think they should just give him a Harley Davidson. But you see, I'm a sucker for an old bloke singing songs about the past and the future and everything. I think it's brilliant, and the way that he says that the rocks hit his helmet now, but they feel like feathers. It's like, well, don't take everything to heart and just let everything roll off you. Don't take it all too seriously. Don't be damaged by things you don't need to be. And I really liked it.
It is proper old bloke rock, though, isn't it? I mean, he's,
So you liked it then?
Well, it was all right. It was a bit cliched, but yeah, it's okay.
Oh, I love him.
I
love him.
I have to say, there is something about it that you can really get into. It's weird. Yeah. It's like, it's not the kind of song that I would particularly ever want to listen to, but I find myself finding it almost therapeutic. I sit there and go, Harley Davidson. You can't help yourself. It sticks in there. It's in there forever.
And every time you say Harley Davidson, you're going to sing that. Every time.
Yeah, but I think maybe he's going through a midlife crisis, hence the comment about Harley Davidson. Hopefully someone in the chat room can translate this for us, but it sounds amazing. Steve, this... I think Elliot put it right with his comment. Not a chance in hell of winning, I suspect, but this is a good entry. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a fantastic entry. It's very catchy. It's very memorable. And first of all, I was quite appreciative of seeing somebody that's older than me participating in the Finnish final. But actually, he's not. He's about 3 or 4 years younger. But he's certainly got all the lines and has had a good life, I would say, in the past. He's very, very well known previously in Finland, I know. But I think this is a good song. It's really catchy. It's not going to win, but it makes for a good show, I think.
I think it does. Georgia, this... I can imagine this doing okay, actually. I don't think this is going to be last at all. But what are you expecting from the staging on Saturday night?
Well, I could see him doing something quite similar to the video. Just kind of... I mean, honestly, whatever he does, his charisma is insane. So he could just stand there and do nothing, basically. And I'd still love it because he's got something about him. I can see why he's been in business so long, and it's just like the video itself is my total guilty pleasure at the moment. It's so fun, and whenever I show it to someone, they look at me a little bit like, okay, why am I listening to a weird Finnish song? And then they see the video and they're like, oh my god, that is so fun, and everyone sings the Harley Davidson part, so it'll be a great show no matter what he do, and he won't win, but I don't think he'll be last either.
It's like somebody's taken a Schlager song and they've kind of added a rock theme to it. That's kind of how I describe it. If this was a pop song, it would be in Melody Festivalen from about the mid 2000s. That's kind of how I take it. There's definitely some Schlager in there somewhere. Matt, can you, in any world, is there a possibility that this could do better than people expect and potentially contend a win on Saturday?
No, I don't think so. I think it is a good song, but I just think because there is quite a strong national final, I think there are a lot of other songs that could do well. So it may pick up a few points, but no, I'd be very surprised if it did win. I think it's good. It's very uplifting, but as I said, I just think there's quite a few other songs that are just better than this.
Thank you, Matt. Someone who does love a Schlager classic, as we've found out over the last few weeks, and talked in detail about one last night, is Tom. Tom, what did you think of this? And is this up there? I suspect this is your 12 points, is it not?
No, this is not my 12 points, too. Sorry. Guess again, my friend. I've been varying my music tastes. I've got to keep you on your toes somehow.
You have you.
I do like this. The thing is, I can't get over the fact that, and you'll have to forgive me, those people that are listening in Europe, if you've not seen The Bill, which was a British crime drama show, I can't get over the fact that he looks like DS Don Beach from about 20 years ago with dyed red hair. Quite frankly, he looks like a bent copper, which is basically the character that was played by Billy Murray in The Bill. Love the song. I think it's a great song. It fits, however, in the guise of, as much as it pains me to say this, I hate it when I have to agree with Elliot. It's nice. He'll have a lovely time, but he won't win. This will be quite nice. This will be good. And just Martin and Joe, by the way, just saying, they agree with my looky-likey competition tonight. In the chat room, lots of people really like it. Donna says it's fun, reminds me of an Italian summer hit in melody, randomly. WIVM, this will likely not win, but it's a very good, powerful song. Might get out of votes out of respect, and we wouldn't disagree with that. Thomas, this is how I imagine Finnish Schlager sounds like. Not a great song, but not a bad song either. And we've also got a translation of the chorus, which is just like a hurricane. We're tearing down walls, not going to settle for less. We know we're powerful. Don't try to shut us off. We're not going to shut up. We will never give up. This hurricane won't stop.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that's a translation of this song, Tom. I think that's the one before.
Well, there we go.
Never mind. Maybe it worked for both. Right, song 3. Thank God I'm an Atheist. No, literally. This is Olivera.
Thank God I'm an atheist, 'cause I don't want to face my sins. I don't know, it seems pretty clear to me that heaven is a state of mind. So thank God I'm an atheist.
Olivera's Thank God I'm an Atheist. Now, a bit about Olivera. She's been writing since the age of 11 years old. And has earned millions of streams from her first 4 EPs. So she's relatively well known in Finland. She's an indie pop singer. She's also written for international stars such as DJ Tiesto. Thank God I'm an Atheist explores the topic of death and the possibility of eternal life. So it's really deep, this one. And if you like ballads and you quite like mean and moody entries, this one is 100% for you. So it's absolutely for me, people. I love everything about this, but it's very dark for Eurovision. That said, we had Dark Side last year. This is a very different genre altogether. Let's start with Matt on this one. This, I think, can be propelled by staging, because I think as a song it's very, very good, but it needs the right staging to really elevate this. What are your thoughts?
I thought the song was okay, but it's called Thank God I'm an Atheist, and I thought, thank God it's finished. I wasn't a fan of it at all. I just found it so depressing, and after about half a minute I just thought, God, I can't listen to this much longer. I thought very simple, quite British in its sound, but I just found it so empty and depressing, and I just thought, oh my God, I just thought, I was just so glad when it was over.
So I detect maybe it's not your favourite there, Matt.
No, out of the 7, I've put this last.
So Finland loves a powerful message. Last year we had Oscar's Lie, which was actually my favourite of the 7. But this, I think, could quite easily become my favourite of the 7. Steve, what are your thoughts?
I'm pretty much with Matt on this one. I think it's got a nice, ironic title, but it just doesn't appeal to me. It kind of feels... I mean, the vocals are very modern, like many vocals of, the Billie Eilish kind of stuff, but I don't really like it, and for me this is the 7th place song as well. So I'm not a fan. I think it's a very polarizing kind of song. I think you either like it or you hate it.
Absolutely, yeah. It definitely will either appeal or not appeal for sure. Georgia, Olivera notes, nobody knows what happens after we die. What if all the world's biggest religions are actually right and life never ends? I can't think of anything that causes more anxiety than the idea of eternal life. This is incredibly powerful. Very, very deep. How on earth is this going to be staged, in your opinion?
Oh God, I thought I had to go all into like interpreting the text now. Phew. Okay, I think staging has to be quite dark, something that fits the vibe. I'm guessing we're gonna see something like with stars in the background. So I'm really looking forward to it. This is my first place. I absolutely love it. I love the lyrics. I don't find them depressing at all. Actually, I think there's something very beautiful about them and quite, just human to not want to live forever. That sounds really okay. It does sound depressing, but I don't know. It doesn't give that vibe to me. Just kind of to live in the moment and appreciate everything more if one knows it'll end. Maybe, I don't know. I love it. It speaks to me. I love her voice, love the video. It's by far my first place this year.
I think if we were having an award across national selections this year for the best and most well-written song entries, I think this would be out there. I think it's very thoughtful. I think the lyrics are outstanding. I don't care what you think, Michelle. You're wrong. Sit there shaking her head. Okay, let's come over to Phil and Michelle. Tell me why you love this so much.
Well, I thought, as soon as I heard it, I thought, well, here's a nice cheery song. This'll get me in the mood, won't it? Let's get going. I hated everything about it. I hated the very concept of this song. I thought it just seemed so contrived and a deliberate attempt just to annoy people and to polarise people. I think...
Well, that's your job, isn't it?
I think she just doesn't want to be held responsible for her actions. She's obviously done something bad and thinks, shit, if there's a God, I'm absolutely stuffed here. I'm definitely going to hell forever and ever and ever. Amen. I really hope there isn't one. But I just hated all of it. I don't care if she's an atheist. That doesn't bother me at all. It just seemed so contrived. And I just could not cope with the whole song. I hated it.
See, I didn't mind the lyrics, but it was dreary. And the way she sang it really, really is not my cup of tea at all. So I didn't really like it. It's interesting. It's nice to get a bit of philosophy, but it's not for me.
Not for you guys.
Not for me. No.
Thank you both very much. And finally, Tom, is this up your street? And could you see this as a potential outside winner, perhaps? One of the chat room saying.
It's got potential, hasn't it? I mean, let's face it, in a year where we've got songs called Eat Your Salad and Give That Wolf a Banana, thank God I'm an atheist, kind of fits right in, doesn't it? In terms of, just in terms of slotting in. I get Roxanne vibes from this. I think her voice is very similar to Roxanne from last year.
Let's hope she can sing.
Well, there is that. I like it. I think it's got a lot of potential. The style of music isn't necessarily for me though, because I wasn't exactly. I mean, I thought Roxanne had a beautiful ballad, and I loved the staging for it and the twinkling stars, and it all looked really pretty and stuff like that. But I wasn't about to pick up the phone and vote for it. Let's put it that way. And so I can see the music value in this. Lovely song, nice message. I think if you take the song title literally, then you're totally misreading what's actually behind the song in terms of the lyrics anyway. But I do think, here we've got, there is some sense, not different from last year. I remember someone saying, and they have such a high dead rate in Finland, this is just humour in Finland. There we go. And little John has suggested that next year her song should be Give That Atheist a Banana Salad. A total mishmash. You have got us to a T. In terms of what the chat room are saying, obviously we've got the comment on the fact that it's Finnish humour, dry and a bit dark. Kane reckons staging will make or break this. Love the vibe, despite being a confirmed Catholic. Thomas reckons this is a contender for the win. Great voice, fantastic lyrics, and gets his 12 points. Martin loves the song, beautiful voice, powerful lyrics. Sure, it will get jury plaudits, but not sure about televote appeal. And Elliot probably sums it up quite well. Polarising song, fair point and message. If religious people can express their views and love God and music, why can't atheists express their counter-argument? Take it, although I'm not entirely sure of, if the lyrics are taken into account there. And Michelle thinks Matt's my favourite. There we go.
Get out of the chat room, Michelle. You're supposed to be on the panel. Right, keep your comments coming in, people. We are 3 songs down. This is the 4th song. We're going back into finish now. This is Isak with Kuuma, jäbä. So that was Kuuma, jäbä, in fact, wasn't it? Not jäbä. Kuuma, jäbä, which translates as hot dude, people. Hot dude. A little bit about Isak. He grew up listening to a wide variety of music. This actually says this, including Mozart, Bob Marley, trance, and Finnish heavy metal. It actually says that. That's quite a selection of genres there, just in that one sentence. The song itself, though, aims to be simultaneously thought-provoking and entertaining. And Isak says, "You might blush when you listen to this song, but we don't want to shock people for the sake of shocking itself." What on earth are we going to see on stage on Saturday? I'm here for it. Steve, are we going to get sex appeal on stage from Isak, do we think?
Well, I'm quite looking forward to the staging, to be quite honest, and I'm sure we're going to get sex on legs or something here. But I suspect he's been listening to a lot of Marion Rung and Katri Helena in the past as well, and just doesn't like to admit it. But it's going to be a very interesting presentation, I think. The song probably hasn't got much chance, but it'll be an interesting performance, and I think we're going to get what we see, to some extent, what we see in the video. So it'll be interesting.
I think there's going to be sex appeal on stage on Saturday from Isak. Matt, what has he got to do to win your vote and keep it clean?
I think it's quite a good, catchy song. I do think there are a few others that are a bit better, but yeah, I think with a good performance, he could do well. But it's just full of pure filth. I was listening to it earlier, and he was bent over. He was talking about how he likes to get spanked, and yeah, it's a song that I think you're definitely going to remember on the night.
I think you will. It's in fact, it has the ability to make you blush, and even make Tristan in the chat room blush, and that is saying something. Phil and Michelle, what has he got to do to win your vote?
Well, I think he's already won it. Oh my God, I felt absolutely dirty. I needed a shower after watching this. I just felt sticky by the end of it. Like, oh, but I bloody love it. It just oozes sex appeal, and the beat of the song and everything like that. You don't need to look at the English lyrics to know what he's on about. It's just absolutely obvious, and I think he does it so well. But Phil's looked into the lyrics, obviously.
Well, we were on the video. Yeah, I mean, it's about a straight guy who sees a hot-looking man in a club and fancies having a go at that instead for a change.
Yeah, see, Stu can relate to that. Can't you, Stu?
Nothing with that. But it's a good song. It's a good tune. It's danceable.
It is. You can imagine that in the club.
Yeah.
I absolutely bloody love it.
Yeah. Definitely one for the Euro Club, that, definitely.
I know, but I'm having a bit of a flush now, thinking, I think it's like, as soon as it started, you could tell that this was just going to be pure filth, and it was, and I bloody loved it.
I actually think this is probably one of the songs. It's not fancy to win, but I think with the right staging, this could actually do it.
Oh, God, yeah. Few hot dancers behind him, wearing not a lot. I'll pay 50p and vote for it.
As Donna says in the chat room, this guy has potential for me. Great to look at and great voice. I even like the song. Like, great praise indeed. Fania says, Michelle, taste. Georgia, what are you expecting from this on Saturday? Do you like this song, and could you see this as a potential winner?
I have no idea, honestly. I totally slept on this. When this first was released, I listened to like a small clip of it and thought, okay, it sounds like The Weeknd. I'm not a huge fan of The Weeknd, pass. And then I listened to it again today, and suddenly I was like, oh god, this is so good. I haven't looked up the lyrics, so the whole what it means kind of went past my head. No, I think this could either do really well, or it could be a huge flop because it's just too much on stage. So I could see it go either way.
I don't know. I think the Finnish might quite like this one. Just a hunch. Our Finnish chatter is saying it would do very good at Eurovision for sure, but Finland will not select it. I would really be blown again if they did. Let me read that again. I would be really blown again if they did. Not sure what you're on about there, but hey, each to their own. Tom, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'll be honest too. It kind of got my 12 points when I listened to this on the first read.
Of course it did.
Do you know what? It's a great song. It is a great song, and do you know what? I think this has Paul Oscar potential. Obviously, he set Eurovision alight with some very imaginative staging in 1997, and I think this could be the Paul Oscar entry of its generation if it goes through to Eurovision. Do you know what? I think it's got masses of potential. Great song, very modern. I think, as someone said in the chat room, what was it? Pretends not to be written for Eurovision or something. Where can I find it? Oh, there we go. Another modern song, but he's pretending it's not made for Eurovision. Yeah, but that's part of the game, isn't it? We know what the game is. Modern. You could see this certainly being a hit in Euro clubs up and down Europe. And yeah, it's just got a nice vibe to it, hasn't it, really?
It does.
Deux pois from here.
Just go back to Steve for a very quick second. If Finland were to select this, do you think this song kind of has to go hand in hand with outrageous staging?
Oh, obviously. And as Michelle was alluding to there, you've got to have lots of men in pants in the background, haven't you?
Yes, she's saying. Lots of them, please.
Yeah, it has to have a standout, sexy kind of show, doesn't it?
I think it does. Well, that was song number 4. We're going to move on to song number 5 now. This is also in Finnish. This is Sun Numero by Younghearted. Let's take a listen. Younghearted with the song Sun Numero, which means your number when translated back into English. This band actually formed in 2015. They released 2 albums. The first went platinum, and they've also been nominated for a Finnish equivalent to the Grammys for Band of the Year. It's actually a song about remorse following a breakup. And previously were more of an acoustic band, and actually trying a different style for the Finnish national selection this year. I like this type of style and genre of music. I think it's really cool. I really like the sound. I really like what they do on the video. Not sure it's a winner, but I can get behind this one. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Wasn't a fan of this again. I just found it quite depressing. One of the singers was talking about how she regrets things in a previous relationship. I just found that the song didn't really sort of go anywhere, and it was another song I just couldn't wait for it to finish, to be honest.
Thank you, Matt. Georgia, this feels one of the more sort of modern type songs actually of this particular contest. What are your thoughts?
It does sound modern, and it has something special to it, but I think because this year there are so many good songs, it kind of lacks a bit of impact, and this is my last place. Not because it's bad, just because the others are so much better this year. And I'm excited to see how they set this up on stage, whether that maybe can push it up a bit. But to me, it's a very clear last place.
Thank you, Georgia. And Phil and Michelle, do you think, take that point, do you think this could struggle because you've got so many outstanding entries in Finland this year, but also I would expect outstanding staging as well as good entries or outstanding entries? Could you see this being potential last place because it just kind of gets passed by?
Yeah, it's gonna get lost with all the far better songs that are this. If you got to pick up the phone and vote somebody, I don't think you'd do it for this one.
Yeah, the problem with it is it's pleasant. It's a pleasant song. You know, it's nice. But I
thought the tune was a bit Coldplay.
Yeah.
Sounded a bit Coldplay, which is like lift music, isn't it? It's
interesting lyrics, but it just doesn't quite have the
oomph. It's missing a bit of oomph.
There are songs that some people love and some people hate, and this, to me, is a song that everyone thinks, yeah, that's all right.
It's just sort of it trundles along and it doesn't really go anywhere. And she's just going, I just want to apologise, just once. Then I'll get rid of your number. I'll get rid of your promise. And then she goes at the end, she goes, I won't have memorised it. Yeah. And it's like,
restraining order waiting to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's just like a bit. We all know that that's what we do, but you don't write songs about it to tell everybody that's what you do. Nobody's ever going to give her a number again. It's going to get lost.
I think it has the ability to. It's a shame because it's a really strong entry, in my opinion. It's a really good entry, one that you'd listen to time and time again, but maybe not vote for, as Phil and Michelle said. Steve, I think it's really well written, actually. Musically, I think it's really good. But it just lacks that, as Michelle says, that oomph to really drive it home on a Saturday night when you're competing against 6 other entries.
It's a very pretty song, and I think when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is nice, but it doesn't lift at all. It kind of stays on kind of one level. And I think when you're entering a competition like Eurovision, you've got to have that middle eight, really, haven't you? You've got to have something that kind of brings it to some sort of crescendo, but it just stays on the one level, and I think it will get lost.
I think it could possibly get lost. And finally, Tom, your take on this particular entry, and what are the chat rooms saying? Are they positive or not expecting much?
I think there is a largely positive response here. It just shows the quality and range of genres within UMK this year.
True.
It's quite classy. Best one for me, nice tempo, typical Finnish pop sound. Sounds a bit like Hello Helsinki. I think it would not end high, but it is good. Tristan says, I can't stand Coldplay. This is much, much better. And David says, this would be ideal for a coming of age type movie. I think he's kind of right with that. I think it would be ideal for a coming of age type movie. Me myself, I think it's all right. It's distinctive, but I do wonder, and when I look at the range of songs, I almost wonder if perhaps the casual viewer will look at Thank God I'm an Atheist and look at Younghearted and think they sound similar and pick up the phone and vote for one. They basically might end up cancelling each other out. And that's not to say that musically they're, like that, totally identical. It's just the fact that they're both ballads with that same kind of acoustic vibe, but quite distinctive in their own way as well. And I think that could bear on the chances. I think I kind of agree with the fact that great song, will give an absolutely fantastic performance. No one can doubt the quality of this, okay, but famous last words, it's not going to win.
Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you, chat room. At 2 left, you might recognise this next band. It's the Rasmus with Jezebel. So yeah, the Rasmus are taking part in Finland this year. Bit of a surprise to see them, to be honest. They're a really well-known band globally, not just in Finland or even in Europe. They are one of Finland's most internationally recognised groups, having sold 5 million albums worldwide since forming back in the early 1990s. Of course, we will remember their most successful hit that you've seen everyone talk about since they were announced, In the Shadows, which topped the charts all over Europe, and literally all over Europe. Their song in the UMK national selection is a song called Jezebel. They've actually teamed up with some really well-known and world-renowned writers for this song. Desmond Child's one example, who's written for Bon Jovi, Alice Cooper and Kiss, amongst many others. It's a song even for strong, independent, trailblazing women. The Rasmus, Jezebel. I think the first question to ask is, we know who the Rasmus are, and everybody else will know who the Rasmus are, but is the song strong enough to win on Saturday night? Let's go to Phil and Michelle first.
No.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. You mentioned all the people that have written the song with them, sort of thing, collaborated with them. And my first line that I put was rock by numbers. And that sounds about it. It's like they've gone around a room and they've gone, right, you start picking a word, and then it sounds like you've heard it before. It's just like a generic, rock song. There's nothing distinctive about it. It just sort of plods along at the same sort of speed. And even the strings, they put the strings in it, and I love strings, and even that couldn't save it. It's just generic.
The problem I have with this is, like, you look at the Rasmus.
Are we getting angry?
No, I'm not, because I like a rock song, don't get me wrong. But you look like you're going to get some really gritty, edgy, heavy metal, and then you listen to the song, and it's generic 80s rock. You could imagine Def Leppard singing this. Or
there's one for the youth.
Well, exactly, that's the point. It's an 80s rock song.
I don't think this is Eurovision fodder.
There's chord progressions in there, and you mentioned Alice Cooper. That was poisoned by Alice Cooper in parts of that. Put it a mile off.
See that.
No, it's a good song, but it's dated.
I think they're thinking maybe all the people that know Poison by Alice Cooper might be dead by now, so the youth won't know it, never heard of it, and they can start again and just re-release it.
Well, 1989. It's not that old, but it's old.
So it's quite rare though, where you see. Do we classify the Rasmus as megastars? I think we probably do. They're world renowned. People know who they are. It's rare that we see stars of this level take part in Eurovision. And every time an artist takes part that's this well known, they tend to do well, just in general. Do we think that this will go in Finland's favour? Matt, let's start with you on that.
Yeah, I think it could. I think they're a well-known band. I do think the song's good. I don't think it's the most original, but I think this could do really well. I think just in terms of songs that are already out from other countries, I don't think there's many that are that great. And I do think that Finland, with this song, I think they could do well. And as I said, I think a lot of people will know who the Rasmus are. And yeah.
Thanks, Matt. And it's interesting, we talk about there being lots of rock songs at Eurovision this year. In fact, there aren't. There's Bulgaria so far. Do we think this is better than Bulgaria? Probably, I would say so. Steve, this, I think, would be Finland's biggest name ever by quite some distance. Back in 2003, Russia sent a pretty well-known double act who couldn't sing, certainly not live, and did pretty well for themselves. Could you see the Rasmus doing well at Eurovision?
I think they could make the final if they went, but I don't think. I mean, Finland have done this a couple of times before, quite recently, with relatively well-known singers who haven't actually done well. I think Sara Aalto came fairly near bottom place, so I'm not sure how they. I think they'd make the final. I think this is a very Eurovision rock song, so it is kind of a rock song by numbers in a sense, and I would put it in the middle of these contenders, but they've got to stand a very, very good chance of winning, haven't they, given that they have had, and I suppose it is some 15 years ago since they kind of dried up on those hits, but many people will remember the Rasmus, and I guess it depends on how Finland's going to vote.
Well, it will be down to the televote, which accounts for 75% of the vote. And if anyone's going to listen to 7 acts on Saturday night and not be necessarily Eurovision regular and think about voting for somebody, surely the Rasmus is a name that they're going to pick the phone up for. And that's the concern, I guess, if you consider maybe it's not the best song of the 7. Georgia, what's your view?
Well, I don't think this deserves to go through. If they were to win on Saturday, they would purely based on their name, and I think that wouldn't be fair because there are so many other better songs. In fact, almost all of the other ones are better. I think it's quite boring. It has some catchy parts, but then the lyrics are kind of, I don't know, I just don't like it. I think also because In the Shadows came out like almost 20 years ago, so younger people won't necessarily know them. But of course, I don't know how old the people in Finland are who are going to vote. So I don't know. I just hope they can, go somewhere near the top, but please don't let them win. Like, they're far better songs, and I could see this not qualifying from a semi too. So don't send it.
Is it really 20 years since In the Shadows came out? I now just feel incredibly old. Blimey. 20 years. Thanks for that, Georgia. You just made my night. Tom, I suppose it would be about 20 odd years, really.
I'm going to cushion the blow slightly for you. It was 2003, so we can take it down to 19.
Thank God, thank you.
just sounds better.
What's that? Just a few years shy. No, tell me about this particular entry, because I want to like it. I think, as everyone said, it feels like a mixture of all types of rock songs and pulled together, stitched together for Eurovision. And I want to like it, but I can't get behind it. What are your thoughts?
Here's the thing. We talk about the Rasmus for like massive name and stuff like this. Can we actually lay it on the line? They were essentially a group that had a one-hit wonder 20 years ago. No other song they did actually charted very highly across Europe as much as In the Shadows did. But a lot of us are of a certain generation where we remember it quite well. We have some very good memories of it, and therefore we want to like the song. And I think that is possibly part of the problem when we're looking at it, because I really wanted to like this, but if I'm really honest with myself, I was kind of looking for In the Shadows Part 2. And this isn't In the Shadows Part 2. It's a good rock song that has probably had some of the corners knocked off it and smoothed over to make it more palatable for what they think a Eurovision audience wants. It's a decent song. They will give a really good performance. Let's face it, they are a band that's been around since the mid-1990s. And they have sold masses of singles worldwide. However, I do kind of agree with everyone else out there that, one, I'm not convinced people will pick up the phone for the Rasmus, to be fair. They might do. But secondly, there are just better songs there. There are better songs there. And I think Finland would be better served by actually sending something more original and modern, of which there is a whole host of possibilities there from the other 6 songs that they could pick on Saturday night.
Thank you, Tom, and well said. Right, final song of the night. We're nearly there. This is Bess with Rampant Pam. So yeah, the 7th song of the evening, Bess with Rampant Pam, released her debut album back in 2019 and has already racked up over 20 million streams. It's quite some doing that. Her influences range from classical music to Michael Jackson, or Spain once said, Michael Jackson. Heavy metal and reggae. The message of Rampant Pam is about how people need to be free and that we should be able to live our lives. This is a bit electro pop, it's a bit house, it's quite dancey, it has your feet tapping, and my God, you cannot get Rampant Pam 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 out of your head, people. It's there, it's fixed in there, it's locked in a box. I absolutely love this. I've got to be honest, this is my top by some distance, I have to say, and I would not normally like this type of thing. I think it's incredible. I think it's very well written. It's clearly been written with Eurovision in mind, in a good way, not in a bad way. And I could see this doing rather well. And I love the story behind it about how it's time for us to be free. And after 2 years of lockdown, surely this is a type of song that has a real poignant message at Eurovision. Steve, what are your thoughts?
I love this. It's my top one as well. And I think she's a woman with attitude as well. And I'll be interested to see how this comes off live and what the staging is going to be like. It's very dancey, it's very modern, the draw is very good, and I think if anyone's going to beat the first song and the Rasmus, it's this one. I think it's probably between those three, to be honest. This is my winner, and I think this is a great song, and I think it could do pretty well if it got to Eurovision, but it's all going to be about how does it come off in live performance. The video is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a bit of a hot mess on stage, to be truthful, but I'm hoping that she's going to deliver it, because I think it has the ability, I think, to do quite rather well at Eurovision as well, Steve. So thank you for your comments. Georgia, what are your thoughts on this one? Could you see us at Eurovision?
Yes, and I love it. This is my second place. I still love Thank God I'm an Atheist a bit more, but this is such a catchy song. I love the video. I love her. I have a huge girl crush on her because she's so beautiful to look at. Like, I love to watch the video. It doesn't make sense to me, but I love just watching her. So I really hope she has a bit of a different vibe on stage on Saturday, because I don't think the video vibe really fits the whole song. But I would love to see this go to Eurovision. I think, yeah, it has it all. It's a catchy tune, the lyrics are good, it's native language, which is always great, and she's beautiful to look at. I mean, what more do you want?
Thank you, Georgia. Yeah, I quite agree with that. There was an interesting comment in the chat from Tristan about whether she will continue the song being in Finnish or translate it to English. I kind of hope it's kept in Finnish too, actually. I think it has a possibility to lose something special if they translate it, because hey, I don't think you should ever do that personally. But Phil and Michelle, could you see this potentially winning in Finland on Saturday and maybe going off to Eurovision and doing rather well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this is my favourite. I mean, my top two is this and Cyan Kicks, but I think this just edges it. It's a good song, it's got a great beat, the message behind it is good, you know, it's about wanting to live your life at sort of a fast pace, whereas somebody else might want to live it at a slow pace. Yeah, I really love this, and I think this will go down well. It's good, you know, go down well again in the Euro clubs. Brilliant.
It's a banger! Oh, I bloody love it! It's brilliant. She also has the best line as well in English. It's planning my wedding to you is like planning my own funeral. And I thought, oh, you've let things get a bit out of hand in lockdown, haven't you? You know, you need to sort it out. It's absolutely brilliant. I don't know what a Rampant Pam 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 is.
No, it's about the pace of life.
I know,
isn't it?
but Rampant Pam 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 is brilliant.
It's saying, you know, it's like me and you. Like, you're more Rampant Pam 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 Pam, and I'm more Ram Pam 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 Pam. You know, it's different phases in life.
Oh, I love this. This is my equal first with Cyan Kicks and the sexy bloke.
Didn't Finland once have a song called Rampant Pam? Did you dress up as them once upon a time on an ESC Fan TV show?
I don't know. We've dressed up with so many people.
Yeah, and we do drink. To be fair, we do drink a lot and don't remember a lot of the shows.
It will come to me. Thanks, guys. And Matt, could you see this winning? Is this the type of song you could get behind?
Yeah, really like this one. Out of the 7, this was my top one. Yeah, I think the lyrics, as Michelle said, where she talks about the funeral, are so harsh, but I think it's something that a lot of people are going to remember. I think it could win the national final. I think it could do really well at Eurovision as well. And as Phil was saying, I think if you went to a Euro club and this came on, I think a lot of people would start dancing. It's catchy, it's memorable, and I think this could win this weekend.
I think it's got a very, very good chance. Tom, it's been 5 yeses so far. What's your thoughts?
It's all right. Right. Okay, here's my thing, right? This song screams Eurovision, okay? It does scream Eurovision. I could probably come up with 5 or 6 tracks that have entered the contest in the recent years that sound more or less like this, that everyone's like, oh yeah, it's really good, screams Eurovision, it's really catchy and stuff. But let's send something more distinctive, shall we? Let's have something with a bit more diversity to it, because I think that basically it's not distinctive enough. I think it sounds too similar to other songs that we've seen from other countries in the past 2 or 3 years. And we're in danger of kind of almost falling into this kind of like whole kind of like Eurovision sound. And so for me, yes, it was up there, but it was kind of mid-table for me based on that. Because I like it, I would dance to it. If it was Finland's entry, absolutely fantastic, totally brilliant. But it's just a bit not original for me.
Telling you, if this comes on in Euro Club, I'm hitting that dance floor.
Yeah, but that's the same thing you have with so many other songs that sound just like it, and that's the point I'm making.
Yeah, but it's a floor. It's a floor. What do they call it? For whatever. I can't even think
Floor
of the word.
filler.
Floor filler. Thank you very much. That's the word I was looking for. It's absolutely a floor filler. People will absolutely go crazy for that when it comes on at Eurovision. You hear it in the semi-final, you go, oh, I quite like that. For people that don't watch Eurovision and aren't as sad as us lot and watch every single song ever that's ever invented before it actually comes around in May, those who actually turn up for a semi-final and go, oh, I quite like that. And by the time the final comes, it will play and be like, yeah, go on, Finland. Go on, get in there, my son. That's what it'll be like. Anyway, that's your 7 songs. Before we go, we're going to ask our panel who they think will actually win on Saturday night. But we want to hear who you think will win. So one name, people in the chat room, we want to hear who you think will win. Tell us now. Tom will put it up on screen and I'll ask our panel. Steve, one name, who do you think will win on Saturday night?
I think it'll be the Rasmus, but I prefer Bess.
Thank you. So the Rasmus, but you prefer Bess. Thank you very much, Steve. Phil and Michelle.
I'm going with Bess. Rampant Pam.
I'm going with Isaac.
Oh, dirty cow.
Thank you both very much. Matt, who are you going for?
I think if she puts in a good performance, it'll be Bess. But if she doesn't put in a good performance, I think it'll be the Rasmus.
Thank you very much, Matt. Georgia, who are you going for?
Bess, definitely.
Thank you very much. Tom, who are you going for?
I am going to go for, is it Kuuma jäbä? I forgot to write down the artist's name. Song
That's
number 4.
Isaac. That's Isaac as well.
There we go. Isaac.
Yes,
There we go.
with the hot pants, the leather hot pants you're looking forward to seeing on stage.
Basically, yes.
Yes, you are, Tom. Yes, you are. Okay, what are the chat rooms saying? It looks a bit of a mixed bag from what I was seeing you put up there.
It is. So we've got Cyan kicks from Tristan, Elliot and Donna, the Rasmus from Martin, Olivera from Thomas, Isaac from Vanya, and David has just given his top 3, Cyan, Younghearted and Isaac. So I think probably Cyan kicks probably nabs the win from the chat room this evening.
Yeah, it looks
and
that way.
thanks to everyone that's been messaging in as well.
I think it could be either Cyan kicks or Bess that wins. I don't necessarily see the Rasmus winning, although I think the tally vote could swing it their way. We're going to find out on Saturday. I actually think this could be the national final to watch, people. There's a lot going on Saturday, but make sure you keep an eye on Finland. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my to my panel, firstly. Big thanks to Steve.
Bye, see you soon.
Huge thanks to Phil and Michelle.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, you sexy bastards.
I didn't think you noticed. Thanks, love. Huge thanks to Matt.
Good to see you guys. Cheers.
Big thanks to Georgia.
Thanks. Always a pleasure.
And huge thanks to my co-host as always, Tom.
Thanks, Stu. Fantastic show as always. Fantastic selection. I'm gutted I'm out on Saturday night. Otherwise, I'll be watching UMK, but hopefully I'll be able to see it on Catchment.
Well, we've got a lot more content coming for you guys. Friday night live, we'll be counting down the songs in the Danish selection this year. You do not want to miss that. There are some decent songs this year. Sorry, Thomas and Anya and everybody else Danish in the chat room. There are some good ones this year, which we're looking forward to talking about. And a very special for you coming on Wednesday. Keep an eye out for it. We're doing a little pre-recorded special tomorrow that we'll post on Wednesday. And then, of course, as always, it's Melfest Sunday on Sunday night at 9 o'clock Central European time. Do not miss any of our shows. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, ding a dong our bell. That's right, get the little bell, ding, 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 because we will tell you when we go live and you do not want to miss a thing. Little comment from David there. No Australia. Watch this space. Oh, yes. Thanks, people. Stay safe. We love you loads, and we will see you very soon. Bye-bye.